Good morning or afternoon, Baltimore. Hello guys, how are you? As you've read from the title, today we will be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. If you're interested in hearing about the books that I've read in the past 6 months and in the books that I'm going to read in the rest of 2021, then continue watching and don't forget to leave a like. Random disclaimer time. First of all, I didn't style my hair. Secondly, we've talked about how ghetto looking my shelves are. The organizing my bookshelf video will come soon. That's a lie. I don't know when I'm gonna film that. But just don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
The first question in this tag is best book you've read so far in 2021. That is a bit difficult, isn't it? I haven't thought about these answers before I started filming, so I'm going to go to my list in my notes app, books of 2021, and figure that out. Oh, can I choose 3? You know what? It's my video. I'm gonna choose 3. So, A Thousand Splendid Suns was an immediate 5-star by Khaled Hosseini.
Khalid Hosseini.
If I can find it, that would be fantastic. But if I can't, that would be atrociously sad. Aha! Jan Park. This book. It's also going to answer a few questions later on in the tag, but this book was an immediate 5-star. I think it's an all-time favorite in general. It matches up with the amount of hype that it gets. And then Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that was a good book. I think I rated it 4 stars. That was a solid book. It was very relatable. It made me cry. And I think that it's like very in touch with the problems that teens deal with today. The next question is, what is the best sequel you have read in 2021? And sadly, I can't answer that because I haven't started any series this year. And I don't think I've continued with the series that What's the plural of series? I haven't continued with the series that I was reading last year. I kind of took a break on that. And you're going to see what book I'm talking about again later in the tag. Question number 3 is a new release that you're excited to read but haven't yet. Okay, so y'all remember in my last video, no, it wasn't my last video, in the CNA book shopping vlog, I saw The Henna Artist twice. I've been obsessed with this book for like a year, I think, a year and a half. I've hyped it up so much in my heart and I want it so bad. I want to buy a copy so bad, but it's always like crazy prices and dinamali. Yesterday, I saw that there's a freaking sequel that released yesterday. The Secret Keeper of Jaipur by Alka Joshi is the sequel to The Henna Artist, and I've been obsessed with The Henna Artist, as we all know, for the longest of time. So I'm excited to read that, even though I haven't read the first book. It's just that I've hyped it up so much in my heart, and I think my brain is going to shatter if it isn't everything that I expected. And then one that released in May, I think, is called Arsenic and Adobo, and it sounds very interesting. It incorporates cooking, and I don't necessarily like seeing cooking in books because it bores me. Baking, on the other hand, there's a whole nother story, but I'm still excited to read it because it has something to do with culinary-ness, as well as mystery. I think someone dies by arsenic poisoning. The 4th question is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. And I can't answer that because I don't pay attention to releases. I think maybe at some point in my life, I will get obsessed with an author to the point where I would pay attention to when their next release is. But right now, the 5th question is biggest disappointment. The biggest disappointment book I read this year is the one that the irony of the situation is hilarious to me. So I did a video, my first ever book haul on this channel. I know I referenced that video a lot, so go watch it. I'm gonna put it up in the card somewhere. But I got Warstorm by Victoria Aveyard, the last book in the Red Queen series, and I was absolutely elated. I was just so excited to see what's happening with the story. I've gotten Bear in mind, I started reading this in February or March, and I've gotten this far, and it took me, I think, 3 weeks or nearly a month to get this far. This thing is dragging onwards. I put this bookmark in here in April, I think, and I just put it back in my shelves, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna carry on reading it later on. Hasn't happened yet. I still do have plans to finish reading it because I have such little left. But the problem is, first of all, I don't care about the story anymore. Secondly, I don't remember what happened up to the point where I stopped. And fourth, I have half a mind of just going on YouTube and seeing whether May ends up with Cal or Maven. Because I'm tired. I'm tired of the manuals that is this book. It's not manuals. It's just dragging, and there's like war for no reason, and it's not dollaring what it needs to.
It's not even giving what y'all said it was supposed to give.
The next question is biggest surprise, the book that gave you the most surprise in a good or bad way so far this year, and that was Forced to Grow for me. Forced to Grow by Sindiwe Marona is kind of, first of all, it's a sequel.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Wait, does that answer my first question? Anyway, it was also the biggest surprise for me because I read it in January when I was doing my little South African reading month, and it was fantastic. It was a 5-star for me because it was like a normal old book about her life at the beginning, but we got to a chapter that was talking about the Soweto uprisings, which is a really important event in South African history that involves students. I had a good general understanding and overview and all the facts from that event, but Sindiwe Marona's book gave it a personal feel because she was explaining how people around her were reacting and how she felt and how she observed the government reacting to everything that was happening and how she saw the rest of the world react to everything that was happening. And the way she wrote it made me cry because it just clicked how bad the event really was. I was looking at it from an objective point of view, but while reading how she felt during that time and the way that everyone else felt during the time, it made it way more personal and it made me understand what happened way better and why it really can't happen again. The next question is favorite new author. That just has to be Khaled Hosseini. I hope and pray that I'm pronouncing his name correctly. But he's my new favorite author. I've read one book from him and I understand the hype because A Thousand Splendid Suns and The Kite Runner. And I don't know if there's another book that's hyped up, but those two I know most of because I've seen them everywhere. At some point we owned the Kite Runner DVD and my parents never let me watch it because they were like, you are going to be traumatized, my child. But I'm totally ready to pick it up and read it. I just need to get the book first. His writing is extremely emotive and clear at the same time. He doesn't beat around the bush, but his descriptions aren't annoyingly long. For example, when there was... Did I get a stain on my book? His descriptions of emotions and his ability to build up a tense moment in a book is fantastic, and his character building as well. Oh my gosh, his character Khaled Hosseini can write fantastic characters. Layla, Miriam, Tariq, and the other guy who did what he did, just all of them. I had such intense feeling and it felt like these people were real people and that I had a relationship with them because of how well he wrote them as characters. Khaled Hosseini is now part of my list of favorite authors. You guys, this may or may not start to get annoying for you, but the next question is new fictional crush. And I need you to understand, before I tell you who it is, the whole book itself is not about romance. There are so many nuanced topics that are talked about, and I learned so much from the book in general. I'm not just gonna look at it's not a romance book again. It's not meant to be a romance book. But the slight romance moment made my heart shatter. And again, it's in A Thousand Splendid Suns. Tariq. Tariq. Let me figure out how to say my man's name properly. Tariq. Okay? If I'm mispronouncing it, flame me in the comments. Anywho, Tariq. Tariq from this book. He Tariq is everything I could ask for and more. Tariq was so nice and just Tariq, and the thing is that the whole reason why I'm like choking slightly, because these are thug tears, but I'm slightly choking up is because if you haven't read this book, okay, you know what? I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but something happens with Tariq, nah? And then something unhappens with Tariq. And I'll never forget the pain I felt when that thing happened to Tariq. I was just like, what's happening? Just Tariq is everything I could ask for and more. He's I wish he was real. I didn't think, okay, wow, I need to pull it together. Just read this book, Claire, because Tariq will have your heart as well as all the other characters in here. But Tariq is really my fictional crush because he's so cool and he's so funny and he's so smart. He's so smart, and his determination and his courage and everything, bruh. I think I'm just gonna reread this book simply for Tariq. I'm a Tariq stan account at this point. Read this book and fangirl about Tariq with me. Please, thank you. The 9th question is, well, who is your newest favorite character? So, first off, we've got Uva from a man called Uva, Penny from Emergency Contact, and Sam. Honestly, both of them were very realistic characters. I feel like all of us have a Penny and Sam in our lives. I also did a review of this book on my Instagram. Go check it out at Colorful Lychee. And to top it all off, I know I don't want you guys to get annoyed, but Tariq. Just all the characters in here. Miriam, Layla, Aziza, even though she was a baby, she came, I don't know, man. Aziza was a little comfort in everything that was happening in the story when she was born. So Aziza and Tariq. I need to shut up about this man's, okay? He's not real. I think the reason why I don't have a shame is because Tariq is not real. He's a fictional character. If I was crushing on a boy in real life this hard, no ma'am, that's the door. And if I find a jet like Tariq, then it's all over for me. Next question is a book that made you cry. I have a few on this list, starting off with the one and only. I asked you guys not to get annoyed when I started talking about this book, but this baby right here. I have a clip of me crying at a restaurant, and I called my friend Chrissy B. Reeds, who I was buddy reading this with, and I video called her and I said, Chrissy, when you get to this part in the book, you better be at home in your bed, okay? Because wow.
But yeah, Thousand Splendid Suns. Please read this book. I don't know what more you need of me to convince you to read this book. Character building, fantastic. I love Hosseini as a writer and how he describes things and how he creates such deep interest that you will have in the book. That's not proper English, but I don't care.
Read the book. Just read the book. A Man Called Uva by Frederick Backman made me cry as well because, again, it reminded me of the ending of The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry by Rachel Joyce, which is my all-time favorite book. I'm repeating myself to prove a point that you need to go read that book. But the endings were slightly similar, and it brought back all those emotions that I had when I first read Harold Fry. The next question is a book that made you happy, and that was Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. I would reread that to get my serotonin levels up. The 12th question is most beautiful book you have bought or received. Now, I have a few answers for this. So first off, we've got Sourdough by Robin Sloan. Look how gorgeous this is. Please fight me if you say that this isn't as pretty as it is. As well as The Sun and Her Flowers. I know that this one is it reminds me of paper. It gives me paperish vibes, but I bought this because it reminded me. These covers kind of reminded me of each other. When I saw this in the shop, I was like, oh my gosh, it reminds me of the Songs of Willow Frost. If you've seen my CNA book shopping video, then you'll know what I'm saying. But yeah, this is a really pretty cover in my humble opinion. Next question is, what is a book that you need to read before the end of 2021? I have been saying I'm going to read this book for 2 months now, which is The Secret Life of Movies. I have an Instagram post on this book saying that I'm going to read it. I had planned to read it for a readathon that happened in May, I think, or April. It's currently nearly the end of June. Hello? The last question on this mid-year book freakout tag is, who is your favorite book community member? That is the most disrespectful question I've ever been asked in my whole life, because I have too many to name. But I'm going to name them, and you're gonna sit and you're gonna listen to me name them, and you're gonna go follow them on Instagram because they're fantastic human beings. Did you hear me? Fantastic. First of all, we have got Chrissy B. Reads. She is one of my closest friends. I've known her since November, I think. I replied to her story because she did something funny on her story, and that's how our friendship began. Chrissy is fantastic, man, and I know she's watching this. She's one of my favorite people on this whole earth. Chrissy, you, much love, girly pop. Then we've got Jane from Wandering Pages, who is fantastic. She's so funny, and like, she's just, her account is everything I could ever ask for in my whole life. She's so cute too. She's like so pretty, and she's just a fantastic human being. She's also really smart, I picked up on, which is great to have smart friends. So Jane from Wandering Pages. I don't want to talk your whole ear off, so I'm going to start listing people.
We've got Salma from Lattes in Literature. We have got Mbali from Mbali the Reader. We've got Akila from Phantoms in Fiction. She is so cool. Shazia from Shazia Reads Stuff is so cool. I think she's one of the first people that was like really, really kind to me at the beginning of bookstagram. Like, she's so nice. Jayna from Reading with Jay. Candace from Paperbacks and Prose. Ali, who is also known as Flower. She does books and looks, and she's everything that I want to be when I grow up. Like, she's so cool, bro. The Littlest Bookshop SA. Izzy from What the Austin. Nadine from Nadine's Nurturing. We've got Hania from Pages of Ethnology. Oh my gosh, she's so fun. Also, my phone just died, so yeah, there's that. Please go follow everyone I just mentioned.
This was way longer than I anticipated, but I hope you enjoyed either way. I hope that you're going to read the books that I recommend, like this one that shall not be named because I've talked about it a million times already. In conclusion, so long, fare thee well, pip pip cheerio. I will see you in my next video. Bye, you guys.